Well, I don't want to be looking down the barrels of three wise guys sober.
Not just a bear you can look. Don't get too close, you'll get shook. You raise a ball to die as you stepped over the line.
So last year we put out the final content expansion for Lumba Hangover, and it was pretty good.
You should kill yourself.
But now Lumba's dead. We killed him. Don't look at that. Ever since we finished up Hangover, we've been working on our newest project, Never Safe in Delaware. The game actually started pre-production over 3 years ago, and over the course of that time, we've been fleshing out the story, aesthetics, gameplay, music, just overall direction for the game. And I thought it'd be fun, now development is really ramped up, to take a look at those first couple awkward years when we weren't really sure what we really wanted this game to be. There's no better way to look at that evolution than to look at the ways the three main characters, who are without a doubt the soul of the game, and to see how they've changed both like visually and personality wise.
Sorry, not.
From the initial really bad period to where they stand today.
I'm kinda sick of eating trash 5 nights a week.
Has kind of started as this blank slate for a faceless action guy. We, of course, like any good talentless hacks, already had the idea of him wearing a mask from Jacket from Hotline Miami, and a protagonist from My Friend Pedro. More and more, as we fleshed his character out, he became the stranger in a strange land, his only friend a rat in a dystopian hellscape. Personality-wise, he originally was this kind of a smart-ass, edgy narcissist who became more of a out of place, laid back, and be type of guy who just wants to keep his head down. His design has always been pretty set in stone, and the main differences you'll see in it is the art going from dear God to damn, that's pretty good.
I wanted the game to look like Backbone. I was not able to make the game look like Backbone.
We always used him as a tool of sorts to measure how we have evolved thanks to how similar he stayed. The main differences are that he once had a hoodie, his shirt used to have a red smiley print on it. Other than that, his color scheme and everything else has been relatively the exact same.
What's up, guys? This is the Stoker Condor, one of the cheapest over-unders on the market. We're just about to review it. Here's my first shot to this shotgun. Let's see how it works. Hey, didn't feel too bad. Doesn't look all that great, but didn't feel too bad.
He was kind of the first protagonist to really manifest his real name, 6'2" Martinez. He always served as this kind of like old mentor sensei to the gang, because we always had this vision of him as this ex-military hard-ass who saw combat beforehand. However, originally, instead of this more reserved and traumatized veteran, he was just like an outright war criminal maniac. I need to mention that the very early stages of this game were very bombastic. That means they sucked. Everyone was just written horribly. There's evil person, zero motives except making the world more miserable. We were both like 15 when we started production for this game.
Right now, I'd say the main inspiration for Never Safe in Delaware tonally and aesthetically is that kind of like late 90s up to like early mid 2000s era of just like insane action movies. Also the games that are coming out at the time too. Of course, there's also some 80s influence there as well. But in the earlier stages, we were actually going for more of a 70s exploitation film kind of vibe, which is why we wanted every character to just be like a terrible asshole. Also Drive.
I wanted Ryan Gosling, that's how you know I was 15, design-wise for Preacher. So yeah, at the start, he was just this rambling doomsday gospel man trying to hasten the world by killing sinners. Not a lot to work with. He was really easy to mold with this more jaded, humanized, grounded representation of a combat vet rather than a trigger-happy Whitman fever maniac. Design-wise, he's an amalgamation of numerous different action heroes. Obviously, he's based off Kurt Russell and as Snake Plissken in Escape from New York. And the idea for him having the occupation of a preacher came from the comic Preacher. Other inspirations for him include Rambo.
One man to call. Get me Rambo, the honor-bound protector of the innocent.
The Punisher, Max Payne, Marv from Sin City, and a whole lot others. Like I said, he's really a melting pot of action heroes.
Say goodbye to the crack dungeon and hello to Beverly.
For Nif, where do we even begin for the rat?
I think my initial inspiration for Nif was Willie from MFKZ, which is kind of funny since the similarities with the character wouldn't really show up until way later in his character's development.
Nif was horrendous at the beginning. He was foul. We always had this idea of a rat from the start because that's the easiest symbolism there is. A rat in a disgusting, decaying hell of a city. That's easy. It's hack, okay? We didn't play into the angle much other than it was a quirky design choice. Nif was just really bad in general. Remember how I mentioned that everyone was a cynical, bloodlusted murderer? Nif was like the poster boy for this. He was like the icon of it. So naturally, when we decided to make this game actually appealing, we had to go heavily rewrite this character. Going from this vile, violent rat to something more similar to Kaz, except he's pretty brain dead. Nif is a rat. He has the mannerisms of a rat, and that means he's stupid. He was also originally a drug addict, so we dialed that way back, so he's more of a habitual user rather than a tweaking junkie.
Nif's design needed to change. Obviously, we were sick and tired of this disgusting rat design. What initially inspired me was that Assassin's Creed bullfrog guy from Captain Laserhawk. I thought having this like little cartoon animal running around surrounded by all these like much more grounded, realistic looking human characters was a fun stylistic choice, so we wanted something like that.
That's when I began to add more features that kind of find him with more human characteristics. His shoes, beanie, cigarette. He's not inspired by Biggie Cheese, I will say that now. That similarity might have been some weird function in the back of my brain where Biggie Cheese possessed me to design the rat to carry on his legacy.
Then once that cover art was finalized, we add some more like patches of fur around him just to make him look a little more animal-like. He quickly became our favorite character after this design was done. You can wishlist the game on Steam, by the way. It's you can the link in the description. You can wishlist the game on Steam.